You've just spent 45 minutes working on the feature. You've taught Claude how to check out code, deploy the application, and perform a security scan. You're finally making progress. But then you hit the context limit. The conversation resets. And now you're working with an agent who has no idea where to start or how to do it. You have to explain everything from scratch again. But there is a better way, and it's simpler than you think. There is no code, it's just text. Hi, I'm Chuck. I've been building software for a few decades, and lately I've been figuring out how to build software with AI. If you've used Cursor, Claude Code, or Codex, you know that moment when the agent asks you to run a command, and you think, wait, why am I the one running the commands? Shouldn't the agent be running the commands? But it can't because it doesn't know how to, which means teaching it. I've tried different approaches, like saving things to a file and then having the next context read it. I've tried adding the functionality into MCP servers. None of it really worked. Some of it worked halfway. It just wasn't the right solution. But when I looked at the problem differently and started creating skills for my projects, a lot of the new context pain just went away. If you haven't heard about skills, they're a simple but powerful concept introduced by Anthropic in 2025. Create a new folder, name it the skill you're creating, and add a file called skill.md and make your coding agent aware of the skill. Now, skills are supported differently in the coding agents, so you'll have to check to see how your coding agent supports skills. And that's it. All your instructions go into skill.md file. Sometimes you'll have code or other artifacts that you'll want to add. They also go in the skills folder, and then make sure you reference those artifacts and other files in the skill.md file. If you want a deeper dive, visit the agent's skill website. I'll put the link in the description below. Here's how I finally understood how skills work and how I apply it now into my coding process. Imagine yourself in a garage. You're standing next to a car on a lift. The brake pads need replacing. You've got two choices. Wing it, start taking things apart and hope for the best. Maybe you'll get it back together. Hopefully you will. Or use a manual, step-by-step instructions. Skills are that manual. Before the manual, you're guessing. After? No, you've got a proven path. So how does this work with vibe coding? Let me tell you how I use it. I have a project deployed to Kubernetes. With every single context, I re-explain which namespace to deploy to, where the secrets live, how to build, and then the agent still confidently does something wrong. And I correct it, and then we hit the context limit again. Back to ground zero, and it just repeats. To solve my problem, I created a skill for deploying my projects. Now, when the agent gets confused, I just say, go read the deployment skill. It does and deploys the code all by itself. Same story with database debugging. The agent would ask me to run queries and paste the results back in the chat. Again, why am I doing this? I wrote a skill explaining how to connect to the database and which tools to use. It felt like magic. Now the agent connects to the database, queries its own data, and I don't have to do anything. Skills are just documentation the agent reads and gains a new superpower. The limitation isn't AI. It's us developing the right skills. This is how I'm using skills. But it feels like I'm just scratching the surface. How are you using them? Let me know. Leave a comment. If this was useful, hit the like button. It helps more people find my videos. And if you want to see how I'm using AI to build software, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Stay curious and keep learning.